Hi, thanks for being here. I will be showing you how to do an advanced macrame wall hanging, which is quite large. So the dimensions of this piece is, the dowel itself is 24 inches wide, and the length of the piece is approximately 30 to 35 inches long, depending on how long or short you would like to trim it once you've completed the piece. So if you've purchased a Pinovate kit, the kit will come with the wooden dowel, the rope, which is spun into spools like this. This is a smaller version, but it will come in 2 larger spools. A measuring tape that you would need to measure and cut the rope with, as well as 2 S-hooks. So these S-hooks you can use to hang over clothing racks, and you can just put the dowel onto the hooks. Or you can even use the racks in your closet if you have that option, or behind a chair, whichever works for you. But the kit will come with these, and these come in handy. So you will need approximately 148 inches for each rope. So you would want to use the measuring tape that comes with the kit as well as the rope, and go ahead and measure that so that you have a length of 148 inches. 60. Okay, so once you have that measured, you would go ahead and cut it and repeat that process 39 more times, because you will be needing 40 strands of rope. So it's important to note that the spool that comes with the kit are pre-measured, so make sure that you do use the measuring tape to measure and cut your rope so that you have a sufficient amount of rope in order to complete your piece. There is a little bit of an allowance, but not a lot, so do keep that in mind when cutting, because you don't want to run out of rope when you are working on this piece. So now that you have pre-cut all of your pieces, I usually just put them onto one side, and then you can go ahead and assemble your station. So I just attach the S-hooks onto a clothing rack, and then I go ahead and put the dowel onto the hooks, just like that. So the first knot is the lark's head knot. So what you would want to do is fold your rope into half, just like this, and then grab the end with the loop and put it over the dowel, just like this, and grab the other end and feed it through the loop, just like that. And we're going to repeat that 40 more times. Once again, fold your rope into half, grab the end with the loop, bring it over your dowel, and just feed the rest of the rope onto the loop. So this is what it should look like once you've attached all of the 40 strands of rope that you just pre-cut. Again, just space them out as evenly as possible at the center of the dowel as much as you're able. Now we can go ahead with the square knot. So if you need a refresher for the square knot, what you would need to do is gather the ropes in groups of 4, grab the outer right and create a P, bring it over the 2 middle rope and under the last rope, grab the outer last rope under the 2 middle rope and through the P. Make sure it's tight and secure, and repeat the same process, but starting on the left side, you create the number 4 over the 2 middle 4 under the last rope, and take this outer right rope under the 2 middle rope and through the 4. And now you have a square knot. So once you've created all the square knots across, you should have something that looks like this. So next step is working in groups of 4 square knots. So I will work with this first group of 4 starting from my left side. So I will make alternating square knots. That simply means taking 2 ropes from the existing square knot and 2 ropes from the neighboring square knot, creating another square knot. See? And you do the exact same thing with the next group of 4. So now you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 square knots and 1, 2, 3, and as you taper down you lose 1 square knot until you're left with just the 1 square knot, giving you an upside down triangle at the end. But before we move on to that part, this pattern requires a berry knot. So take the middle square knot on the second row and knot 2 additional square knots. And you should have something that looks like this. 1 square knot, 2 square knot, 3 square knots. And grab all of the strands from this knot and feed it through the gap just right here. So let me just... So you have 1, 2, 3 square knots. Grab the ends of these knot and feed it through the gap right here. Once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this, which is a berry knot. So now continue with your alternating square knot, which is taking 2 from the existing square knot and adding 2 from the neighboring square knot and create another square knot. That's a lot of square knots in one sentence. So 2 ropes, add 2 more ropes, create a square knot, grab 2 ropes, add 2 more ropes, creating another square knot. So you can see that you have a V pattern, or like an upside down triangle. So this pattern you would repeat 3 times as you would alternate it, alternate the pattern with each group of 4. So this pattern applies to this group of 4 as well as this group of 4. Okay, so moving on to the next group of 4, which is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. You would repeat the exact same process of alternating the square knots. So take 2 and add 2. But this time you're not going to add a berry knot. You're just going to go ahead and create square knots until you create a V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, take 2, take 2. You should have 2 square knots after this row, at this row, and then take 2 from the bottom and take another 2 from the neighboring square knot, and you should have something that looks like this. So once again, you repeat this pattern onto this group of 4 as well as this group of 4, and you repeat this pattern with this group of 4. So you're basically alternating the patterns. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this once you've repeated the pattern. So once again, very knot, very knot, very knot, plain square knot, and plain square knot. So you should have groups of 5. So the next thing that we're going to do is use a double hitch knot. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So you grab a lead cord starting on, once again, on your left, and position it in the direction that you need it to go. In this case, we need the lead cord to be outlining the V that we just created, just like this, and grab the next knot right beside the lead cord, grab it from under, bring it over, and then you see that U over there that it creates, bring it through the U. Pull, and then repeat that twice for each strand of rope. Once again, grab it from under, bring it over, creating a U, and pull it through the U. So when you're doing that, make sure that you adjust the knot as you go to make sure that it's tight and secure against the square knots so that it creates the V pattern that you would like. And make sure to end at the middle of this pattern. So for this one, you have one, two, three, four, five, six, 7, including the lead cord. So once again, make sure that you end just right at the middle, which is 1, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, including the lead cord. So you would have to repeat the process on the other side, except that on this side, you would have to join these two together to create a cohesive look. So in order for us to do that, is that you use this as the lead cord for this side. So I'm taking this one, this rope from the neighboring set of 4, grabbing from underneath, creating the U, bring it over and through the U, knotting twice. Okay, and you should have something that looks like this. Repeat the process all the way across until you reach the middle. Sometimes you would have to tug the double hitch upwards so to leave your boom here at the bottom. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. So you have your 2 lead ropes at the bottom. You can see that. And what you would want to do is grab the left lead rope and use it as the lead rope to complete the pattern. Make sure that you are knotting twice so that it is secure. Something that looks like this. So now, in order to complete this the double hitch for this set of 4, you would grab this one, this rope right here, as your lead rope to outline the V for this set of 4. So once again, grab from under, bring it over, grab from under, bring it over, repeating twice for each rope. Make sure that you end at the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the lead rope. See? And you repeat the process that we did on this side with this side to make sure it's cohesive. So you see that there's a gap in between each set. You can just adjust it accordingly, pulling the knots towards the center of the rope. Just like that. So important thing to note when you are at the 5th set is that the direction of the lead rope should be facing the inner part of your piece. So here we started with the lead rope facing towards the middle, so inwards. So we repeat the same process on this side. We would like for the lead rope to face the middle. So make sure that you use the outer right as your lead rope when you knot them together. So you want to create some sort of uniformity. So this one, if you notice the knots for the connecting double hitch for the sets, it's going this direction, which is to my left, and then the bottom one is going towards the right, except for this one, which is going inwards. So that would be the direction that we will be taking on as we complete this piece, making sure that the knots on this side, the double hitch knots on this side, are always facing towards the middle, or sorry, directed towards the middle. Same on this side, it's always directed towards the middle. For the next part of this pattern, you will be using double hitch knots, creating diamond pieces. So I will show you how to do that. First, let's work on the outer left side of the piece. So repeat the same process you did with this one by taking your lead rope, which is the outer left rope, and consecutively knot using the double hitch knot, making sure that you have 8 ropes or strands once you're done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the lead rope. So now you would want to knot a square knot, and then an alternating square knot, taking 2 from this side and adding 2 to that side. Once again, another square knot. So you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so you repeat this process of doubling up on the double hitch on the other side, making sure that you work with the lead rope, starting with the middle rope from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Making sure you're working with 8 strands, taking the top rope as your lead rope and knotting your double hitch. 1, and the 8th one is your lead rope. So once again, you would want to knot the 2 lead ropes right here, making sure that it's directed towards the middle. So this will be your lead rope. And you knot those 2 together just like this. Okay, you repeat the process on this side, using this as your lead rope. Okay. So before I do any further square knots, I will just go ahead and repeat this process on each of the half diamonds that you can see here. So repeat this exact same process 1, 2, 3, 4 more times, and 1 double hitch outline on the outer right V that we have. Okay, once you're done all of your double hitch, you should have something that looks like this. So we can go ahead with the next part of the pattern, which is creating square knots. So we are going to be using alternating square knots, starting from the very top of the diamond or half diamond. As you can see, they're starting to create shape. So grab groups of 4 strands of rope, creating a square knot, and then alternating square knots. So what I do is always start on the left. So take 2 and add 2. Square knot. Repeat on the other side. Take 2 and add 2. Take 2, add 2. Take 2 and add 2. Take 2 and add 2. Okay. So once you have 3 square knots in a row, you're going to continue with the alternating square knots. However, you will be tapering the amount of rope that you will be using. So to create the bottom half of the diamond. So to create an upside down triangle. So take 2 and add 2. Take 2 and add 2. Take 2 and add 2. So you should have something that looks like this. And then you repeat the exact same process 1, 2, 3, 3.5 times. Once you're done all of your square knots, you should have something that looks like this. So we will go ahead and outline the square knots using the double hitch knot once again. So in order to do that, we will go ahead and take this rope right here, this strand, and go ahead and knot your double hitch. Repeat this process on this side, taking this strand here, this loose strand here as your lead rope, facing inwards, creating the V outline. So go ahead and use the double hitch knot to complete that. Make sure you're counting and that you have 8, 2, 4, 6, 7. And the difference is that you would grab the lead rope from the score hitch, double hitch from the top, and add it to the knot at the bottom. So you'll have something that looks like this. So repeat the process on this side, going this way. So notice that there's a gap in between this, the double hitch that you just did, similar to the one up top. Make sure that you seal those going this direction. Okay, so you just repeat the process 3.5 more times. Moving on to the next row of this pattern, you will once again be using square knots and berry knots. So for this diamond, you will go ahead and create your alternating square knots. So for this part of the pattern, you will go ahead and create the diamonds using the alternating square knots. So once again, you work from left to right, starting at the middle. And once you have 3 square knots in a row, you will taper down. So you see 1, 2, 3 square knots, 3, 2, 1 square knot. Okay, so it's very similar to this pattern right here. But pay attention with this particular diamond because we will be adding in the berry knot. So 1, 2 square knots, 1, 2, 3 square knots. So we will be adding in the berry knot once you've reached the middle half of the diamond by taking the middle square knots and adding 2 more sets of square knots going downwards. So you have 1, 2, 3. Take the ends of this particular knot and feed it through this gap, just like we did in the very beginning. Giving you a berry knot. So you just adjust it if you need to. But then continue with your alternating square knots at the bottom. So repeat this pattern on this diamond, repeat this pattern on this diamond, and you just kind of like alternate it. So once you're done your square knots for the third row, you should have something that looks like this. You should have 2 berry knots and 3 regular diamonds. We will go ahead and finish the outline of the diamond using the double hitch knot. So instead of doing double outline, we're only doing single outline. So always take the outer right, sorry, not the outer right, but the outer strand to use as your lead rope. And you're gonna notice kind of like a single strand here that isn't really paired with any square knot set, and that's okay. You just add that to your count for your double hitch knot. So I will go ahead and count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the lead rope. Now, seam on this one, on this side, grab your lead rope, and there's a strand that isn't paired with any square knot. Go ahead and use the double hitch to complete the V outline. So for row number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you will be repeating the pattern on row number 4, so you can see that this piece has a lot of alternating patterns and repetition, which is a great way to exercise your double half hitch knots and your square knots. So once you're done with row number 6, then your piece is almost complete. The final step that we have to do is create the spiral knots in order to add a little bit more detail to your piece. So the spiral knot is basically just the first half of the square knot. So I will go ahead and show you how to do that. So for the spiral knot, you will be working on with the tips of your diamond. So you will be creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spiral knots. So let me show you how to create the first one. Working with groups of 4 once again, it's basically the first part of a square knot. So create a P over the 2 middle rope under the last rope. Take the outer left rope, bring it under the 2 middle rope and through the loop. and just repeat that process. I'd say approximately 10 times, but it all depends on how you would want the piece to look. I think that 10 is a good number, but you can go longer. You can go 15 or 20 or however much rope you have left. You can be as creative as you would like. So here we have, I believe, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here we have 10, and I'm just going to go ahead and do spiral knots for the remainder of the ends of the diamond. So I decided to go ahead and do 15 square knots for each of the ends of the diamond instead. So the final step that we would have to do is basically create a square knot, a large square knot, by gathering the strands that you have from each of the gaps where diamonds should be at. And then instead of working with groups of 4, you will be working with the entire strand in order to create a square knot. So take the outer right rope, bring it over all of the middle strands, under the outer left rope, just like this. Bring the outer left rope under, and then create a 4 over the middle strands, under the outer right rope, under and through. And you should have something that looks like this. So just repeat the process on the other side. This is basically a giant square knot. So this is totally optional. You can go ahead and just cut the fringe as is if you would like, or you can add a little bit more detail by using a large square knot to gather all of your strands. It just provides So once again, this is totally optional. You can leave the fringe as is, or you can go this route. I think that it cleans up the piece, but if you prefer more of a modern look, you can just leave the fringe hanging without the square knots here, or you can go ahead and do the large square knot and just trim it however long you would like. Thanks so much for purchasing the kit and joining me in today's advanced macrame tutorial for this large wall hanging. Hope you got to practice your knotting skills and that you enjoyed making this piece with me. Thanks, bye!